Welcome to the Prosperity Podcast for entrepreneurs who are ready to drop the hustle and earn more. I'm your host, Danielle Amos, business and success coach, certified Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant, and lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I'll bring you amazing entrepreneurs who have built wealth, harnessing the power of their mind. Prosperity and money are truly about energy, and I'm on a mission to help you create financial abundance through the power of thought. It's time we started normalizing conversations about money and create the wealth that is yours. Are you ready? Let's do this. Welcome to episode 107. This is Danielle Amos, and you're listening to the Prosperity Practice, the podcast that helps you live your most abundant life. Today, we are talking about the good girl attitude, this idea that many of us have been programmed to being the good girl, to putting other people first before us. We were taught that if we do things for ourselves or put ourselves first, that's selfish. And what I've come to realize is that if I do not put myself first, if I do not put my oxygen mask on first, like we're told on a plane, then I cannot help others. And I become depleted and resentful, overworked, tired, and I'm not a very nice person anyway. Can you relate to that? So just like on an airplane, it is so important that we give up this idea that others come before us. We must serve ourselves first. And for me, what that looks like is, I know I can hear almost like many of you saying like, well, I've got kids. Like, how is that possible? Well, for me, what that looks like is actually I wake up earlier than my duties or my, for me to help my family so that I can have the time for me first. It also looks like asking for help from people around me, like asking and for help from my husband, letting Paul know that meditation and time for me is really, really, really important. Is if I can't give what I don't have, if I do not give myself love and ground myself in the morning, I'm just scattered. And so, yeah, it takes something to think about how it will work. And it involves perhaps conversations that I didn't have before. And it takes courage to ask for what you desire and what's best for you so that you can best serve others. The other way doesn't work. And in my experience, the running around like with our heads cut off and just like do, rushing the kids, yelling at them, getting them ready for school, like it's not fun for anyone. And so this podcast is really to encourage you to think about all the things that we are told in society that we should do, or things should look a certain way, and including, even how you show up, like the identity of a mother, like of a parent, or perhaps for you, it's as a leader at your job, or your identity as a daughter or a sister or best friend. But what if we let go of those ideas that have been programmed into us by society and other people, the theys, and who is they anyway? We let go of these people-pleasing ways. And instead of pleasing others around you, you please you. What would that look like? Now, when I first heard this, I wondered well, what does that even mean? I wasn't really even sure what gave me pleasure or what gave me joy or what I liked or what was really even important to me. And realizing that was a sign of how much I was putting other people first. Like I didn't even really know. So you might be at that stage too. You might relate to that. And so for me, I needed to take some time to connect to what does bring me joy by trying out a whole bunch of things like having baths and going for walks and just listening to the quiet whisper of my heart and desire and allowing myself to go do that. Like, if it meant a bath in the middle of the day, try it out. You might be like, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, what if you could? Like, what if you commit to start listening to those desires and then seeing what is possible? And you might be saying, you can't do that. And what if you could? What if you could start small and follow the desires or ideas in the moment that, you have room for, and see what happens? For me, I realized that I became a much more fun person to be around. And I had more patience for others in my life. And I was present. And I realized that the people around me who I thought were saying all the things I should do, they weren't really even thinking about me anyway. They were thinking about themselves and wondering what I was thinking about them. And that's the same for you. So I encourage you to let go of the shoulds, to decide to do things for you. Do things because you desire to do them. Do it your way. Do it because it brings you desire, brings you joy. Do it because it's what you desire. Do it because it brings you pleasure. Do it because you're following your intuition. Do it because it lights you up. How does that feel? What if for the next 30 days, you do your absolute best to put yourself first? Just like breathing that in, giving this yourself this time feels so good. It's not selfish. It's not irresponsible. It's actually the opposite. By putting yourself first, you become a better mother, partner, wife, sister, aunt, employee, because you filled your cup and you cannot give what you don't have. How do you give more love when you aren't giving self-love to you? Take on the challenge. Put yourself first. Follow your desires for the next 30 days. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't do things or be there for other people. It just means that you've made a conscious effort to make sure that you're full, that you are taken care of, that when your resources are low, you fill up the battery. You don't overgive and give and give and give just because you think you're supposed to. I love this. One of my mentors, she would always say, like, according to who? Like, I'm like, they say that you're supposed to do this. Okay, well, who is they? According to who? That's a thing. So many of the beliefs that we have been programmed into, like we're supposed to do this or we're supposed to do that, they're not even ours. They're beliefs that have been programmed into us by society. And we use the term they told us that. Think about all the things in your life that you did because you thought you were supposed to. They say to go to school, get a good job, get married, have the house and the white picket fence, and then the children and the dog. What if we gave up the good girl? And we no longer did things because we thought we were supposed to. There's a quote by Rebecca Campbell. She said, "We must rise as women, not follow as girls." With that, I ask you to rise as women for the next 30 days. Put yourself first. Fill your own cup, find your pleasure and follow it. And I'd love to hear from you what happens on the other side, how your relationships deepen with yourself. As you communicate boundaries, more respect is given. You feel more respected. You're more present with your family. You find more joy in all areas of your life. Share with me. I'd love to hear if this podcast resonated with you. Please send me a message. Instagram is best@Danielle_Amos_. And if it resonated, please help me share this message. There are far too many women who are overgiving, not putting themselves first, and becoming resentful and depleted and just settling day after day. Let's change that. I love you. Thank you for listening. Expect abundance.